domino. I just didn't have, the comfortability of checking plays, alerting plays, and doing that. I just rode with the play, even if I knew it in a way that it wasn't going to work. I was going to try to make it work. I didn't actually know the playbook necessarily really, really good. And that's on no one else's fault, but my fault. And our play calls were simple when I was in, I didn't have alerts and checks. Whereas now, feeling more comfortable, I can kind of maneuver my way, through these things now.
All right. Stephen A., we know the game always slows down with reps. Thoughts on Tua admitting he didn't really know the playbook?
Well, I applaud him for manning up and acknowledging his faux pas there. He was accepting responsibility for it. It wasn't the coach. It wasn't the general manager. It wasn't the coaching staff. It was him. This guy is a winner. We know what he did at Alabama. We know how hard it is to do for Nick Saban, because preparation is this man's signature. The one thing you are not going to be playing for Nick Saban is to be unprepared. That's just not something that we hear of. And so for Tua to acknowledge that, I give him a lot of credit for it. And I think that the future's bright for him. He still completed 64% of his passes last year through 11 touchdowns. I think he's got a lot of promise.
Max, retired quarterback Alex Smith says the treatment of Aaron Rodgers by the Packers, it's inexcusable. What do you make of Smith speaking out on this in his situation with Patrick Mahomes?
Well, look, I think it's pretty obvious that players are coming out and saying, who would know, are saying this is not right. Alex Smith, don't forget, first overall pick in the same draft. Rodgers was taken 24th. That was seen as a big mistake. And Alex Smith has experience with success on various teams. He'd been around the league. He was a good quarterback. He's seen the highs, the lows, the ins, and the outs. He knows this stuff. And he looks at Aaron Rodgers and thinks, that's no good, and that jives with what most people think.
Stephen A., the Senior Bowl and the NFL will hold a pre-draft combine for the top prospects from HBCUs next January. Your thoughts, sir?
I'm incredibly excited about it, and in the interest of full disclosure, I've decided to become a member of the advisory board of the HBCU Scouting Combine, so I'm on that advisory board for HBCUs as well. You've got guys like the general manager, Chris Ballard in Indy. You got Spielman in Minnesota. You got Shannon Sharp, Steve Weiss for the NFL Network, Primetime Deion Sanders, and others. So this is a very, very, very big deal, and I think that it's going to help HBCU athletes get attention. I'm loving it.
And First Take's going to cover a lot of it. It was a career performance for John Morant last night. 47 points, 7 assists, but just wasn't enough to take down the Jazz with Donovan Mitchell back in the lineup. I told you he'd have fresh legs. Series tied at 1-1. Let's welcome back our resident Grizzlies defender, Kendrick Perkins. Max, what more does Ja have to do?
Turn water into wine? I mean, what more? 21 years old. He just dropped 47 points in 43 minutes. By the way, let me tell you something about John Morant. Everyone's talking about Jason Tatum, and I've said Jason Tatum maybe one day could be the number one option offensively on a championship team. I think I would take John Morant over Jason Tatum going forward. John Morant is the next level of athlete, right? He has that Westbrook aggressiveness with explosive athleticism. He's looking for his teammates. He's looking to score. He had such a pretty assist at one point. It was late in the third quarter, dribbled behind his back. I forgot who he dumped it off to. It was a thing of beauty. Look, Donovan Mitchell, you said it, Molly. We both thought he'd have a big game. He did. He was almost as good minute for minute, 25 points in like 26 minutes, whatever it was. But Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, now John Morant, Luka Doncic, these young dudes, like 22 years old and young, they're coming. They're ready. Like, they step up in their first playoff performances, and it's jaw-dropping. John Morant is joining that group right now.
He is joining that group. He is the truth. It's just that simple. When you show up in big moments, you respond to the challenge. That's what makes you who you are when you are a star in this league. And I think that we all see that from John Morant. I'm not sure I'm ready to go as far as saying I'd pick him ahead of Jason Tatum because you can't teach 6'9" with that wingspan and that marksmanship from the perimeter that Jason Tatum has at his disposal. But I absolutely love John Morant. He's a special, special talent. He's a special player. But even with all of that said, there isn't a damn thing that the Grizzlies can do other than pray for divine intervention. I don't care that the series is tied 1-1. They are different than animal when Donovan Mitchell is on the floor. And to watch these guys shoot the basketball from the perimeter, I'm getting very concerned. I'm getting very, very worried. Because we all know that my social life matters to me to some degree. And I would prefer to be in LA or Phoenix for the finals. We all know there's a strong possibility we can end up in Utah. We can end up in Salt Lake City. Because this team is something else. They've got size, they've got defense, they've got perimeter shooting, and they have a star who can close in Donovan Mitchell. And so to me, when I look at Memphis, they are coming. They are a team to be reckoned with. We have to respect them. They've got a very, very bright future ahead of them, but it's not right now. Donovan Mitchell is back, and as long as he is back, Utah will close out this series no matter what Ja Morant does.
Well, I respectfully disagree with you, Stephen A. When you look at Ja Morant and just look at his history, not getting recruited that heavily coming out of high school, going to a mid-major school at Murray State, and look, no one knew about him until he took that school to the tournament, and he shined when the lights hit the ice. And when he got to Memphis, no one expected them to even be good. They thought that they would be in the lottery again. What did this dude do last year? He had them in the 8th seed. He had them in the play-in tournament. Even in the play-in tournament against the Portland Trail Blazers, he shined bright. They just he didn't have enough to get over the hump. But when you talk about this year and talk about the test that he had to go through to get to this point, he's done what he needed to do, and so has the Memphis Grizzlies. They went down to Utah, and they tied it up. And I get it. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell. But guess what? They got to come back to the grindhouse. And as a person that's been there and had to play out there in Memphis at the FedEx Center and the grindhouse when they're playing that song from whatever it is, whoop that whatever, and it gets to rocking up in there, and them fans get to bumping and talking noise, and those role players get to feeding off of that energy, it's going to be another different story for the Utah Jazz. By the way, I'm just saying, before the foul count got even, because the officials know what they be doing throughout the course of the game, they called some crazy fouls on Dylan Brooks, had him sitting down. They called some ridiculous fouls on Valanciunas where Rudy Gobert hit him in the face, and all of a sudden when he hit Rudy Gobert in the face by accident, he get a technical foul.
That was a weak call.
And you know what else showed me? You know what else showed me that this Memphis Grizzlies team is about that action? They were down 20 at half, and they came back and they got there within single digits. I believe it was 3 points. And I said, you know what? They had ultimate confidence. They got the ultimate confidence. And when they get home back to Memphis, it's going to be a different story. So it's on Utah. And I'm ready to see how Donovan Mitchell is going to respond after playing on that ankle. How's that ankle going to feel with the traveling and everything?
How'd he look in game one? Hold on, long time off. You were saying, how'd he look? How did Donovan Mitchell look first game back?
I get that, Max. I get that, Max. You said the same thing about Kevin Durant. Okay, he proved me wrong. He came out and he looked good. I get that, right? He's a superior star. He is. But what I'm trying to tell you is the flights matter, okay? Because they talk about flying and how things could inflate it, being in the air and all that. And then when they get back to that grindhouse, y'all don't understand the grindhouse with Tony Allen and Big Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol and Mike Conley built the brick.
I've covered a few games there.
Tough environment to play in. I still got winning this series.
I've covered a few games there. It is a special place to play basketball when they are hyped about their team. Make no mistake about it. But let me tell you something. My position is predicated on the health of Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell is healthy, there's nothing to talk about here. Utah's not losing this series.
I'm so happy to just see him back on the court.
Ja is amazing.
All right, Big Perk, you just get your gym shoes out, laced up, the comfortable ones for the errands. I'll be ready for you. I got the camera. I'll get a tripod actually, so I get your good angles.
Yeah, but I'm saying I expect that out of them too, but I didn't expect that from you today. I expect that type of stuff.
Oh,
out
Molly
of them
could slide
too.
him in now. Molly could slide him in.
Yeah.
She'll slide him in if you're not expecting it. You know what I'm saying? She'll slide in some shots, no question. But it's all right.
Can I
It's
let him-
okay.
Molly's got
Can
jokes.
I have a little fun? All right, Perk, we'll talk to you in a minute. All right, when we come back here, Entourage fans, Nick fans, what a treat we have for you coming up. Jerry Ferrara joins the show. It's going to be a love fest with him and Stephen A. Oh, help me. And Max